Hi friends. I just got home from singing at a funeral and things didn't really turn out as expected. I mean, it went fine, but we had rehearsal last night and our accompanist didn't show up, which is unlike him. And I thought, well, maybe he went to the wrong building, and by the time he got there, it didn't make any sense to drive all the way back to the correct building. And I had messaged him, but he didn't message back. And I thought someone would get a hold of him. But then when we got to the church to warm up this morning, he still wasn't there. And I had filled in on the piano last night, and I thought, well, maybe I should practice it just in case. But when I got home, I wasn't feeling well and I was in a lot of pain, so there was no way I was going to practice. I was just praying that I would even be able to get out of bed this morning, and luckily I could, because when I got there, he still wasn't there. So our director asked, well, do you guys want me to play and have no conductor, or do you want Sarah to play? And it was just really intimidating because I didn't get to practice it on my own at all. Like, it was just sight reading while the choir was singing. So, and also the accompaniment is actually made for the organ, and so it just feels really empty, like not complete. Uh, so I did my best to give it a nice full sound, but yeah, it felt kind of awkward. And things were good, and then we went to another room to practice it some more. And by the time we got up to perform it, I put my sheet music on the stand, and it just wasn't laying nice the way it was before. And I messed with it for a while and realized it's just not going to sit perfect. So the first page turn, so that was another thing, I didn't have a page turner. The first page turn, right after I turned it, it started to close like halfway, and then I had to like lean way over so I could see the notes, and that just wasn't working. So I briefly put my hand on it to try to open it back up, and then it started to fall, and so I'm playing with one hand while trying not to create a total disaster with the music. But I was able to put it back on the stand and avoided any more embarrassing situations through the rest of it. That was a lot of pressure for me. If I'm going to perform, I practice obsessively, so to not be able to practice at all, I thought, well, I think our friend would understand, and hopefully she's in heaven having a good laugh at me. And I was really relieved to find out that our pianist was okay. Like, it reminded me of a situation years ago. So, like, during part of the funeral, I started to almost bawl, not just because of this lady who passed away, but because I was really worried about our pianist and what might have happened to him. And anyway, when I was a teenager, my mom was going to meet someone for lunch, and it was about 20 minutes away, not very far at all. And she is typically always on time for things. And her friend called about half an hour after they were supposed to meet and said, "Is your mom there? Because I've been waiting for her all this time." And I said, "No, she left a long time ago. She should have been there by now." And she said, "Well, that's weird." And I felt a little bit concerned, but I thought, well, maybe there was an accident. Maybe she ran into some really bad traffic somewhere. And then she called again, maybe 20 minutes later, and said she's still not here. And there was nothing I could do about it. I mean, no one had cell phones back then. Doesn't that, yeah, that makes me sound really old. So I was trying not to jump to any bad conclusions, but then I called my brother at work to tell him about it, and I absolutely broke down, started sobbing. He told his boss he was going to leave early to go look for our mom, and when he got to the restaurant, my mom and her friend were there at the table eating lunch together, and it turned out my mom got there first and was waiting inside the restaurant, and then her friend got there and was waiting for her outside the restaurant and didn't think to go inside the restaurant. And then my brother yelled at them in front of everyone, "Why didn't you call Sarah?" And I kind of cringed at that, but at the same time, I knew he loved me. So when things happen, I try to tell myself there's a reasonable explanation and not to just assume that the worst happened. Do you have any stories like that? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and share and tap the bell for notifications, or else you won't know when I put up a new video. I'm gonna go change my clothes now because I don't like to clean out my refrigerator in formal wear.